Alright, so a review of simplifying square roots and cube roots. The point of simplifying a square root or simplifying a cube root is to get all of my perfect squares or all of my perfect cubes out of the radical symbol. The way we did that was by making a factor tree. Alright, so for example, on practice A3, so if you look at page 12 in your packet, in number 1 we were simplifying the square root of 50. Alright, so I'll look at the number 50 and I want to know, are there any perfect squares inside of 50? Well, if I look at 50, 25 times 2 gives me 50. So I know there's a perfect square in there. So the way we simplified this is if I said, I have 50, the smallest factor of 50 was 2, and it's 2 times 25. And when I look at 25, the smallest factor of 25 is 5. Alright, and then when I get to the end, all I care about looking at is the 2, the 5, and the 5. Because if there's pairs of something, that meant there was a perfect square. So I'm going to circle my pairs and underline what's left over. What I circle, I take one of, and it goes outside my radical, and what's left over goes inside. So the simplest radical form of the square root of 50 is 5 radical 2. Alright, but then we had something crazy like number 2, where it said, what's the simplest radical form of 28m to the 4th x cubed? Alright, so we're going to do the same thing. We're still going to do factor trees, but now we have to do it for 3 things. First, we have to do it for 28. And 28 is 2 times 14, and then 14 is 2 times 7. Alright, so all I care about, again, is this 2 times 2 times 7. I have a pair of 2's, so I circle that. So when I start working with my final answer, I'm going to go ahead and make my radical. I know that I have a 2 outside, and then a 7 inside. But I still have to take care of my m and my x. So if I have m to the 4th, that means I had 1, 2, 3, 4 m's. And I'm going to circle my pairs. So here's one pair, here's another pair. So however many pairs I circle, I take one from each. So this gives me 2 m's, so that gave me m times m, which is m squared. So outside of my radical, I have m squared. Now I have to deal with my x. I have x to the 3rd power. So I take out 1, 2, 3 x's. So I have one pair and one left over, which means I take 1 and put it outside, and then my 1 left over goes inside. So my final answer would be 2 m squared x times 7 radical x. Alright, then there was number 3, which had the radical symbol, but then there was this little 3 inside, so that means I'm taking the cube root. So now, instead of circling pairs, I'm going to circle triples. So if I look at 135, and I factor tree this, my smallest factor of 135 is 5, and it's 5 times 27. So then I look at 27, the smallest factor of 27 is 3, so I have 3 times 9. And then when I look at 9, 9 is 3 times 3. And when I get to the end here, all I care about are 3 times 3 times 3 times 5. But again, now that I'm looking at the cube root, I'm going to circle triples. So I have one triple pair of 3's. Well, not a pair, but one triple set of 3's. So that means I can take out a 3. So 3 is going to go outside my radical symbol. And then since I have a 5 left over, 5 is going to go inside. So it gives me 3 cube root of 5.